Welcome to our lesson on reciprocal teaching, which is a strategy that proficient readers use when reading new and difficult texts. Before we get started with our lesson though, let's actually look at our learning objectives. So there are three things that I would like you to be able to do by the time you are done with this lesson. One, I want you to have created a self-reflection where you compare yourself to a proficient reader. Two, I want you to practice writing 3 predicting statements that I will walk you through, at least some of them in this video. And 3, I want you to feel that you have mastered the step 1 of reciprocal teaching. So let's actually meet our proficient reader now. According to Debbie Miller, proficient readers do 6 things before, during, and after reading. Pause the video, and on your paper you're going to decide how many of these strategies do you actually do. So if you feel that you do each strategy always, sometimes, or never, for each strategy write down sometimes, always, never, and then be ready to move on to our next step. If you don't understand exactly what it is that the step is talking about, make sure you make a note of that so that we can talk about it tomorrow. Also, you may decide that it might be genre specific. If that's true, write that down because that'll be an interesting discussion piece as well. Now let's actually talk about step 1. Now, like I said, proficient readers do things before, during, and after reading. We're going to focus on what you do before you read. Before you read, the very first step of reciprocal teaching is making a prediction, where you tell what you think is going to happen. Now, you may ask yourself, why would I predict? Well, that's an interesting question. People predict so that they have a purpose for reading. It helps them link their prior knowledge with their new knowledge. Now, there's actually a special word that we use for prior knowledge that you need to record, and that is schema. A schema is a description of your prior knowledge. Okay, so let's actually look at what our predicting statement will look like. And we'll take a look at our official thing that we're going to write down. Okay, you use to predict, remember you're going to use your schema, which is your prior knowledge, and textual clues. Here's our sentence that we will always use when we do step 1 of reciprocal teaching. You will always write, based on the title and my schema, I predict the story will be about blank. Now, reciprocal teaching actually has a nice little formatted, very official looking thing that we use. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, hopefully, for you to take a look at. Now, take a look at this format here. You've got your name, the date, the class period, you can read. And we're only going to do step 1 of reciprocal teaching today. We're going to do predicting, okay? So let's actually now look at our, write down what we think are 3 different predicting statements. Okay, so let's start with Clifford the Big Red Dog. What statement would you write to predict what Clifford the Big Red Dog is about? Pause the video and write your statement. Next, let's think about another possible title that you might work with. Someone's inviting you to a movie, and the movie is called The Deep Blue One. Pause your video, write down a predicting statement using all of the parts of step 1 of predicting, and write down your prediction. Lastly, let's take a look at this article from the New Sun, which is our local paper. You read the title of the work. Before you read the title of the work and write down your predicting statement. Now let's actually go back to Clifford the Big Red Dog and the Deep Blue One. Based on the title and my schema, I predict that Clifford the Big Red Dog will be about a dog that's unusually large. And I've actually read Clifford the Big Red Dog, and that's true. Now the Deep One, that's a made-up movie title. So that's not really going to have an obvious prediction, but we'll talk it over tomorrow in class. We will also talk over the New Sun article and what you think it might mean. All right, that's it for now. I will see you tomorrow in class.